All right, what's up, everyone? This is Isaac with Hunger Smash Fitness, coming to you once again with my esteemed co-host John over at My Block Strongest Man. And today we have a fantastic guest, a lightweight competitor for Mammoth, Ian Draugen. Man, I'll try not to mess up your name too much.
It's drawn, but I tell people dragon.
Okay. So before we get too much into that, let's also mention John and I are working on starting a Discord. So if you guys are interested in joining a Discord where you can just discuss strongman, powerlifting, whatever, we have a very basic format set up here. The link is in the description below. So if you want to check it out, subscribe to it, and start chatting with people. We'll try and be putting some different upcoming contests, try and get like a link from Strongman Archives or something so it autofills with the upcoming contests, all that sort of stuff. If you want to talk boxing or bodybuilding, nutrition, we're just trying to create a little platform, a little group where people can come together and discuss strength and fitness and all that sort of stuff. So from there, let's go ahead and focus on Ian. So Ian, what originally got you into strongman?
So I was always kind of athletic or just doing active things. I lifted on and off through high school, mostly playing lacrosse, and through injuries, couldn't lift that much. Then senior year, I really put it more into effect. And then into college, I really just went to the gym, and over time, I kind of just did the same push-pull legs routine over and over. I'm like, I'm gonna get bored of this, but I hadn't yet. And I saw the Alan Thrall video about burnout, and I gotta do strongman because that's what he does. And there's so many different things to learn and challenge yourself with in that sport.
Speaking of Alan Thrall, do you ever build your own equipment like he did? I've seen him use buckets and things to build his own equipment, which is pretty cool.
Actually, not yet, but I'm pursuing welding, so I will be able to make my own stuff and fix my friend's stuff.
Nice. We got to Isaac. We have to introduce Ian to Tyler, World's Strongest Blacksmith. I think they'd hit it off.
Yeah, they're a little ways away. I don't remember what part of Georgia Tyler's from, but he makes a lot of his own stuff. He makes some cool stuff too, so might not be a bad little partnership there.
Yeah, metal's just expensive right now and hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I try to put people together who have certain needs and people who can fulfill those needs. So I had somebody ask me once, one of the athletes, I need a set of fingers. You know anybody? And so, by the way, Tyler's in the comments. What's up, Tyler?
There's your man. So if you make a trip to Elberton, Georgia, try and meet up with Tyler and get some strongman stuff built together.
I can maybe look for a comp there.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got a buddy Andrew over at Kratos Strength Equipment. So I asked him hey, I have one of the athletes who needs fingers. Can you make something like that? And he's like, I would, but the price of steel is about 3 times what it used to be. So it is certainly a hardship that a lot of people are feeling.
What kind of welding do you do?
So I'm just going for right now I'm just going to weld school right now. So I'm learning stick, MIG, and TIG. And my favorite is TIG, but I've gotten the hang of MIG. But my plan is to go into underwater, so that means I'm gonna have to learn stick pretty in depth. And then after that, probably work on a pipeline. So that'd probably be MIG or stick.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. One of my cousins did underwater welding for, I think 2 or 3 years is all, and then he pretty much retired. He bought himself a nice Corvette and a nice house and all that sort of stuff. But he said it just took such a high toll on his body that he did it about 3 years. And then I worked as a welder at a truck body shop actually for a couple years too. So mostly aluminum and mostly MIG, some TIG, but welding's a ton of fun. I love doing it, especially building trucks. That was always fun.
Oh, I love welding aluminum with TIG. It's so fun.
Yeah, so you build a truck and then you pull it. It's a good marriage with Strongman.
It just sound good.
Yeah, if Isaac didn't tell you off the air, I'm the weird one of the two, so just get used to it.
He's the salesman / ideas, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm just here like making cotton candy, and I was trying to make some high protein cotton candy, but there was like beef all over the kitchen when I turned the spinner on. I just had to stop.
Surprisingly, I can have like all the sugar I want, really, because it doesn't have sodium in it, and it's gonna make me pee more, so I can lose weight faster. But I don't really crave sugar that often. It's mostly just meat and fat, salt.
Gotcha. I have 2 little kids, so they crave cotton candy every day.
How big of a cut do you have to make for Mammoth?
So normally I hang out around 180-ish, 181, but Sunday I got very gluttonous and had a beer, a whole pizza, and some bruschetta, and went to bed at 187. So today I just had like distilled water all day, probably at least 1.5 gallons or more. And I'm gonna stick to distilled water. And if like the cut is too much because it's stripping me, because I was warned by someone to stay away from distilled, but that's when I was like 180. So I'm gonna have to use sauna and all the distilled water so I can squeeze in there.
Well, you still got a little while to cut whatever you need off. So it's not a huge rush, but it is getting closer.
Also found that walking around really helps flush out the system instead of just like sitting all day. And that's going to be crucial for the recomp. So I remember, I believe either Cody or Hanus on the 580 podcast, they said that a lot of people just sit around and just drink and sip and don't do anything, but you gotta like drink, eat, and walk around to like get the metabolism like reinstalling everything.
Yeah, the guys at 580 are good friends of our show. They're doing awesome things over there. Cody's been on our show as well, and we got to get Andrew Hanus over on here, Isaac as well. He's doing some awesome stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. We should get him on sometime.
Yeah. So, Ian, I'm very interested. What was your first comp and how long ago? And kind of what got your excitement with that first comp?
So my first competition was West Virginia's Strongest Man with USS. It was 2 years ago, and it was like right at the start of COVID. So it was when school sent everyone home, and then I texted the event promoter like, "Is there any chance this is getting canceled?" He's like, "Nope." Well, it is in West Virginia. And then I went there, and it was a very fun experience seeing like a really strong guys just making light work of all of the stones. But that was a light competition, and they were there for practice. And I also really loved that everyone was cheering everyone on. I think that's just makes it a way better sport. I think that's also because like this is a solo sport, so we all just kind of like, I guess we might as well be nice to each other because team sports can get pretty tribal, as we know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what other comps have you done since then, and what was it about Mammoth that got your attention, where you thought I really need to do this show?
So my next competition was Star City 5 in Roanoke. It was like my first show with my group from the shop gym. It was real fun to actually go in with a group and know people there and meet new people. And then after that, I did my first open show, which was Lift Me, I'm Irish too. Amazingly run show from James Deffenbaugh. Everything flowed so perfectly. It was well organized, and I think every show should run like that one because there was 3 lanes, they were moving, and it was really fun. And pro strongwoman Monica Johnson actually texted me afterwards and basically gave me like some words of encouragement and invited me to come train up in Primal. So then my next competition was Brute Summer Showdown, and then 2 weeks later was Beer Muscles. I kind of like messed around during the summer, so Brute I had to drop to novice, and I did okay-ish considering against it's a Stella show, and she's known for making things a lot pretty heavy. And then Beer Muscles was an absolute blast. Katie Feely, very well organized show. It's hosted in a brewery, really fun time. And then I did an unsanctioned competition in Staunton, Virginia. It was really well organized. Chad Clark helped out with it, probably why. And then I did Star City 6 kind of on a whim, because it's close to me, so I'm like, might as well do it. And then so the reason why I signed up for Mammoth was when I volunteered for Strongman Court Nationals in Roanoke, and I was just like really put back on the straight and narrow path, because I'm like, all these people doing really impressive things. This is what I want to do, because I could see like everything up front and center. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go do a big heavy show now. It's gonna be cool.
Mammoth is a heavy show for sure. I was looking at the website that Facebook points over to, and is it outdoors this time? That's what the image is on the website.
I'm pretty sure it was previously hosted in a baseball stadium.
That's what it looks like.
As of recently, it's in a dome, like that you would have like. I'm pretty sure they've done like monster truck shows there and circuses. So it's a interesting arena, because it's a dirt floor, so you have to account for that in footwear.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's in the arena that they had it in last year, as opposed to the baseball stadium in the image. Okay, cool. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, it's the same venue, I believe.
Yeah, it should be fun. Do you have a favorite event that you're most looking forward to there? They have some medleys, some carry medleys and deadlift medleys and pressing. I think it's mostly medleys, isn't it?
Oh, it's all medleys, because it's basically 12 implements in 5 events. Probably the most anticipated event would be the carry medley, because it's the one I've practiced the most, and I've practiced the picks, and I kind of know how it's going to flow. I'm not entirely sure about the wheelbarrow and the press. So I initially saw a 170 Mauser block. I'm like, okay, that's not that bad. Like, oh, if you've never pressed a Mauser block before, it's horrible. You should avoid it. So I'll be zeroing that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think people who have never pressed a Mauser block don't have an appreciation for it. Isaac and I have been blessed to talk to everybody who's pressed a Mauser block. So, Jamie Wilson, Steve Schmidt, Wyatt Dawson, Justin Kielhofer, Jessica Fifth, and Gabby Bergholz are like all the good Mauser block pressers. And, we've gotten quite a lot of insight about why it's difficult. But why don't you tell us why you think it's difficult?
So there's no really a place to actually get a grip on it. So it's quite wobbly. And another big issue is that as a lightweight, we don't have the biggest hands as the supers. Like, they could take up the entire block. So there's less surface area, so it's going to wobble more. And there's also our upper bodies, there's a lot less mass, because usually their upper body could weigh equal to or close enough to the block that they could easily press it. But we're basically the same weight as the block, so it's kind of difficult. But I mean, the 2 other lightweights, I'm pretty sure they can press it. So they definitely got that one.
Yeah, the other thing too that I think makes it hard on the dirt floor is that you don't have a great way to get your fingers underneath between the feet because of the unevenness of the dirt. So that might make it a little difficult as well.
Yeah, my friend Matt Mcdougall, he won the Super last year. He's been amazing in helping me prepare for this show with like all the small things. He told me to dig out and clean all the implements to make sure you can easily grip it and you're not like messing around with it in the middle of a medley.
Yeah,
tell
Matt I said hello for sure. He and Haley came on my show quite some time ago after the Mammoth last year, but they're awesome people.
I definitely will.
That's a good point. So he means going through right before you start your run then and checking it?
Yeah, like walking up with a towel and cleaning it off. Kind of like a Highlands Games.
What's your least favorite event that you've ever run into at a strongman comp?
Strongman comp in general, I'd
Yeah,
say as
just
it's now
feel it.
probably a Mauser block. That's horrible. Surprisingly, I don't mind the bag toss over bar. Like it's not that bad for me, but not my best. I don't like the axle. It's not my favorite. I prefer the log. Other than that, probably a Conan's wheel. That's not fun. So I didn't account for it swinging at West Virginia Strongest Man. But I'd definitely say the mouse block is least favorite.
You referring to
It's like so dangerous.
yeah. You referring to axle deadlift or axle overhead press?
Oh, axle overhead press. It's just annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't have the biggest hands either, so I could imagine it being difficult.
I do, and it's still difficult. So I think mine are 2x. So, and it's still, axle still is a miserable thing. So yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, the other thing I found interesting about Mammoth is they have both farmers and frame in a medley. Usually a competition chooses one or the other.
Yeah, so this year it's a deadlift into a farmers, which is they're both very heavy, so we're gonna have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and for folks who aren't aware, by the way, our good friends over at Garage Gym Life Media, I believe, are streaming it once again as they did last year. So you should definitely go over to their channel and check it out. Set your reminders there. It's easy to find. I just, search for it on YouTube and found it in 2 seconds. So go over to Garage Gym Life Media and definitely set your reminders. I'm sure it'll be an awesome stream like it was last year. And are they still doing it, Ian, over 2 days? Because I know David Waters was planning on doing 2 days, but then he ended up cutting out the pro class. So is it still 2 days or one now?
Oh no, it's just 1 day now. So I'd assume they're just doing the record breakers along with all of us. And he also said he refunded the 2-day spectator tickets. So I believe you have to have 5 pros for the prize money, but there was only 4 pros signed up, and then Travis Ortmeyer was injured, and I think he posted it. There was only 2 pro women, 2 pro men, so they just had to cancel that and refund everyone.
Yeah, we and Travis talk, and he told me he's just not healed up enough yet with his leg.
He seemed pretty bummed that he had to pull out of it, though. I think he was disappointed with that.
Yeah, and of course, we always look forward to watching him compete.
Oh yeah, so for the Arnold Invites, I only saw one class has enough people for an Arnold Invite this year. And I saw the heavies, either the heavies or the 105s, they almost had enough, but they were just one shy, which kind of sucks for them.
Which is the class that has enough people for the Arnolds?
The supers.
Okay.
I think it's about 15, but I don't know. I'm bad at math.
Okay, so that's Matt's class, right?
Yes. I know 2 people in there. I know JP Metz and Matt.
Nice. One of these days, I got to have Matt teach me Moss wrestling.
That's a completely different animal from what I hear. But I think like most people that do it are the supers, so I don't know what like the lightweight scene is over there. But I know there is one. But I assume it's like kind of smaller, like Strongman.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Well, Arnold's known for being like heavier comps, anyways. So I would assume that they're a heavier comp. But we had Tyler asking, when is Mammoth and how do you get in it? And it is January 22nd, 23rd, right?
So now just the 22nd.
Oh, just the 22nd. Okay. And how to get into it, I guess just look up the Facebook page and try and get in that way would be the simplest way.
Tyler, meaning how do you compete in it? How do you get invited to compete, or how do you watch it?
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good point.
You can just go on to Strongman Corp. You can find it on the calendar, and then it'll take you to runreg.com, and you can sign up from there.
So how's your training been going? Getting ready for it?
I'd say mostly decent. I had my best bag in training was 35 pounds over about 15 feet, but I had like a hospital run in and kind of lost the explosivity a little, but hopefully I can have that back after peak. The carry, I feel pretty solid about because I have no issue picking it. So that should be fine. And for the press, obviously, I'll just get the 2. As for the deadlift, we'll have to see if I can manage to pull it because I believe one thing that Dave Waters said that he doesn't like deadlift suits, but he said if you can do farmers in a deadlift suit, then have at it. So I'll be attempting it in a deadlift suit if it's allowed.
Doing farmers in a deadlift suit?
Yeah, I gave a crack at it in training. It's not as horrible as you think. Because, I mean, if it's 275 per hand for the lightweight man, you can't go that fast anyway.
I don't know. I've never used a deadlift suit, but like I just feel like it'd slow you down, I guess. I don't know though. I haven't tried it, so you probably know better than I do in that.
Well, the issue with the farmers is that I've heard that they're the slick handles, so they just slip out. And I was training with those, like they would fall out of my hands, and like my grip wasn't even toasted. It just like slipped because they're slick.
Do you train with slick handle farmers? Because I just got my first set of farmers for Christmas, and they happen to have knurling. So what do you train with?
Usually the slick handles because that's what they have at the gym I normally train at and the shop. Because I kind of feel you should probably train with the slick ones. Because if you have to go to the knurled ones in comp, it would be easier.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for JF Caron to find out I have knurling and reprimand me.
What's the heaviest you've worked up to so far, John? Are you competing at Mammoth or
Me?
not yet?
No. So Ian was saying 275 per hand. I'm working up to 175 per hand. Yeah, I mean, if you've never done it before, it's weird, right? Like I told you, Isaac, off the air. Like I picked them up with nothing. They're 52 pounds each, so 104 pounds total. And I said, I've never done this before. Let me see what they feel like. And I'm running basically full speed with them. So I said, I got to put some weight on this. And I got up to 157, I think. And, I had more in the tank, but that's what I've tried so far, 157 per hand.
Yeah, I think the heaviest I ever worked up to with farmers was a 350 for 20 feet, but I only went down. I couldn't get it back. And that's heavy. It starts burning. I was like, man, this sucks.
Yeah, you're also heavyweight. I'm Ian's weight. So
yeah, I'm 300 pounds. I mean, I'm a little bigger, just a little bit.
See, in training, I've only worked up to about 250 per hand. I haven't hit 275, but I'm gonna have to just save that in the tank. Because I found that ego lifting and maxing out never really helps. And the theme of Strongman is or I guess maxing out, as we call from the drama with Thor and Eddie about him getting the deadlift, was it only really counts if it's in a competition, which makes sense because it gives another athlete opportunity, and it's probably safer to just keep the maxing out to competitions only instead of in training.
So there you go. Your opinion on that controversy is out in public now.
I suppose, I mean, if you're going to have a max out, I guess invite other people to your gym.
I'm with you.
Just to make it fair for everyone.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That would have been fantastic if Thor would have invited 4 or 5 other guys to come and try it as well. Then I might have stood behind it a little bit more. But
I think that's most people's gripe, right? Not that like, you know, some people I think may say like, his father weighing the plates had something to do with it. I don't think most people have that gripe. Most people's gripe is other guys didn't get a chance,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone agrees. He pulled the 501. It's just probably give everyone else a chance because isn't Yvonne something last name trying to do 502?
Makarov.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Adam Bishop's been really talking about he's going to put, a year into getting to 505.
That would be pretty cool to see.
I feel like now that it's been done, there's a handful of guys who could potentially do it, but also they're not going to be the first guy to pull 500 kilograms. So it's kind of one of those things where, they'll break the record, but it won't necessarily be as cool as Eddie's, because Eddie's was just, nobody thought that was humanly possible,
Yeah, the one that Isaac and I really thought was going to break it, but then he ended up getting injured before the deadlift championships was Asko Karu, and it'd be really cool to see him come back.
See, like the thing with Eddie was that he was in a huge stadium, and then he was hyped up, and then he had a huge nosebleed after it. So it was just a real cool moment.
Didn't he like black out afterwards or something like that?
Yeah, he's done some interviews after the fact, and basically he said if you watch it, afterward he's saying some words to the crowd. He's like, I was barely with it. I did it just because I knew the fans wanted to hear from me. He said it took him over like 2 weeks to recover from a brain bleed. I think it was really, really bad. Basically he says, people don't realize how close to death I was.
I think he said he had like brain fog for about 2 months, and I went kind of way heavier than I should have, deadlifting Friday, and then Sunday I was supposed to go heavy AF according to my coach, and people were talking to me in between sets. I couldn't think, I couldn't do math. It was toasting me. It really does just make your brain like really foggy because your body's like trying to survive, because it's like, why did gravity just increase by like 3 or 4 times?
It's crazy because I did the 600-pound deadlift for 5 reps or whatever a little bit ago, and I was doing triples before that, and so I did a couple sets of triples, and I was like, I'll just see how many I can get. Basically, probably would have kept going, except I everything went black on the last rep. But yeah, same thing. Like, it's not like muscle fatigue or anything, but your whole body just feels off. Everything just feels off for like at least a good week after that. If someone would have asked me to pull like a 450 deadlift, I don't know if I could have done it, because like it's weird.
Yeah, fun fact about testing your CNS. Matt told me about this. Test your grip, because there's the most amount of like muscles in your forearm. So get like one of those grip things and see if you can collapse one that you can normally collapse, and that can really test to see how your CNS is doing. Another thing about the CNS after like a heavy day is that I'll be at home, I'll have all the food and ingredients in front of me, but I just can't put it together. Like, I can't eat, I can't cook, I just can't. And then normally when I play video games, I have a podcast going and then I'm dialed in, but I couldn't even play a podcast because I didn't want audio, and I could barely like play the game at all. And it was Pokemon, which is like very low effort. So it really messes up your head. I just kind of like sat there.
I don't know. I'm working really hard on this interview, so I'm about to test my CNS right now.
I need to get a dynamometer for my house, but at the clinic, I'm always able. It's the same one that you have, John, where it's one of the digital ones, and it maxes out at 200. And with my left hand, I'm always able to max it out, so it goes up to 200, and then it just says error after that.
Yeah,
and
198.
With my right hand, it gets up to like 190s. So
yeah,
I need to actually get like some of those Captains of Crush or something like that, and play with those instead.
Yeah, I think I'm in the most I ever hit was 130 something, I think.
Which is still pretty good for, you know, a geriatric individual who's
Hey, listen, the instruction book says over 120 is strong. You're just very strong.
Yeah, right. There's always outliers in every group.
See, actually, when I won Star City 6 over a few months ago, there was the what are the metal grip things called? I'm not sure, but they were in
Like
the package, and
the captains of Crush, the grippers.
I think so. Yeah, the grippers.
Yeah.
So I couldn't like collapse it at all a few days after it because I wasn't even that heavy of a grip intensive comp. I just somehow managed to use grip on a strapped 18-inch deadlift. Not sure how that happened, but it toasted my grip. So I kind of didn't do well on the following two events because of that.
Well, and if your body is firing appropriately, like your grip should be firing hard as well, whether you're wearing straps or not. Like ideally, you want everything from, you know, your upper traps all the way down to your toes firing when you're doing a super heavy deadlift. So it makes sense.
Probably because I don't go that heavy in training. I'm pretty sure Alan Thor also says train heavy singles just to get your body used to it and to get your mind used to it to what you can do.
Well, and also just building up that like CNS, I don't know what you'd want to call it, but basically like the ability for your nervous system to actually be able to handle heavy stuff and fire appropriately and then recover from it. Like there's a lot of benefits to doing heavy lifting periodically. If you're doing it daily, no, you're gonna pull something. But yeah, periodically, definitely.
Yeah, I usually before I got a strength coach, I usually stick up to just doing reps in like the strength range and then in the hypertrophy range. Never really going into the heavy doubles or singles. Maybe except for like a Viper press, which is really just for fun. Because I can't Viper press any comp weight yet, unfortunately.
What's your max log you've done so far?
Right now, it's only 200, and of course, there's guys that can strict press more than that in the class. But I don't mean to make excuses, but I'm 21. These guys have been training for years.
Well, and then there's people like Camby, you know, where everybody in his own class look like amateurs when he's competing, you know, Nick Camby, and he just, yeah, some of his pressing and everything is just insane. He makes a lot of the super heavyweights look weak too.
Yeah, wasn't he at one point giving Travis some tips on overhead pressing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think he has a better overhead than Travis does. Not to diss Travis by any means, but yeah, Nick Camby's pressing is just insane.
Yeah, Nick Camby is amazing until you get to bag toss over bar. Not to diss that, but that's when the aforementioned James Deffenbaugh comes into the equation. He's unbelievable with bag toss over bar.
Valid point. I will take that.
See, that pretty much just comes down to genetics. It's crazy how stuff that we can't really see just ends up turning some people into superhumans, and other people have to train really hard and still like come up short.
Well, I think like with Brian Shaw, I mean, he's always been phenomenal at bag and keg toss and kettlebell toss and whatever. And I think the years that he played basketball probably plays into that in large part. But also he's 6'8" with these, you know, chimpanzee arms and everything. And so his levers are just insane for that type of movement anyways. So.
Yeah, that kind of does remind me of the one video of it was the pony keg over bar, but the volunteers were holding crash pads like shields, and they're just stopping them.
Oh, you're talking about when Trey Mitchell won Texas Strongest Man? Yeah,
So.
that was nuts. I think Gabe Pena came in second in that competition. But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I would.
Everybody talked about the crash pads. For me, the funnier part was that Trey was throwing the kegs like off the screen so high. Like I'm like, where did they go?
Yeah, at nationals, when I was volunteering, my neck hurt during that event just watching all the bags flying up because I wanted to see all the athletes throwing the bags, but there's too many of them throwing too many bags. And we actually had to initially we had our volunteer chair kind of off to the side, but probably too close to it, so we like moved them like ridiculously far away, and some bags almost did end up hitting some of the volunteers.
Don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I was a spotter loader at one comp, and it was fun, but I feel like it's almost more work than actually competing at the competition, because like we had power stairs, and we had, I think, like 11 guys in the heavyweight class, and so the heaviest implement was 430, 440, something like that, and then they went down from there, and there were, I think, 5 of them total or 4 of them total. And so when you're moving all these implements back down the stairs after every single athlete, by the end of it, I was like, man, I am shot. Like, I would much rather compete. Being a volunteer here, they did take me out for dinner afterwards and bought me some burgers and stuff, and so that was nice. But I was just like, this is miserable. I'd much rather be competing right now.
Yeah, one of the running jokes in Strongman is that the volunteers at competitions get more of a workout than the actual competitors. Surprisingly, at nationals, I didn't really feel that. We weren't really doing that much, but that's probably because we had a lot of volunteers and we all knew what we were doing. And I think Dave Waters was actually the head like organizer of us, so he did a pretty good job of corralling us and getting us what to do.
Yeah, nationals was a lot of athletes. I hear that with the new ownership, there's plans to make it smaller going forward. Do you have any thoughts about that?
It's kind of nationals. I kind of feel like it should be kind of big because if there was like 10 to 20 per class, that would just be way too dead and eerie. Because one thing, I mean, nationals was missing was music. There was no music at all, which was that big of an issue when everyone was outside warming up or in line for log. But after that, it was just like dead silence. So it bothered me as a volunteer, but I'm pretty sure that bothered the athletes a lot more.
Yeah, I can see that. Another thing I was wondering, Ian, is how many other strongmen are in your class at Mammoth, and what would you consider a successful outcome? What are your goals?
So there's only 2 of us right now, or 2 others right now. I looked up one of them. He has Arnold Strongman in his bio, which probably means he's gotten an Arnold invite from a Plat Plus or Nationals and then competed at the Arnold. And the other guy, he actually messaged me. It was a really great conversation. Part of why I love the sport. We're all like really excited to meet each other. As for successful meet, mostly just practice because there's only 3 of us, so it's not like we're really competing for anything. So it's really just like networking, having a good time, and probably learning from 2 older guys about what they've done, what they've been through, any advice they can give me. I know you older guys like to shed your knowledge on the younger folk.
I'm older than all of you, and I don't tell you anything.
On the air, he doesn't. It's okay.
I kid.
And I would also love to just test my strength to see how I do in this competition. And really just say I touched some heavy weight and other people were too scared to show up to. Not to like the locals that have like they've already done this competition a few times, so it's like no reason for them to do it again. Like they've proven themselves, or they've just moved on in life. So you find that there's a decent amount of people in strongman. They'll compete for 2 or 3 years, and then they'll just have family stuff and kind of move on. And you'll like not want to see them that much.
Yeah. The other thing I was wondering is your class going kind of more toward the beginning because you're lightweight?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna go at the beginning. I think last year it was women first into lightweight men because the heavyweight women have a similar weight to the lightweight men. So it wouldn't be that hard for them to drop a few plates on and keep it moving.
All right. The reason why I ask is I want to give you a little tip from what I've heard from some of the athletes last year. So since it's a dirt floor, depending on when in the day you go, that deadlift can turn into more and more of a deficit deadlift. So I heard that guys like the pros that went toward the end of the day was like a 2-inch deficit. So try to keep that in the back of your mind and judge like at what part of the day you go.
Yeah, I've heard that too. So my strategy for that was to just roll it out of the divot. But hopefully this year they learned from last year and like, oh, there's a divot now. Maybe we should just move the whole horse stall mat over.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if maybe that was allowed. If you could like, because if you're going halfway through, yeah, just go and like reorganize all the weights before you go each time to make sure that you're not working in a deficit or something like that.
Yeah, in strongman you're always allowed to set your implements, which definitely helps. And usually you can ask the volunteers to do it if it's like too much. But I feel like I'll be always setting my own implements just to make sure it's like the way I want.
Well, that'll be good. What's your favorite event at Mammoth that you're looking forward to?
The carry medley. I was in LSM in high school, and then I did the 100 meter and 4x1. And as my first like year in track, I made it to regionals in those two events, so I can move. So I find moving events to be my favorite. But well, I'm not sure how I feel about the wheelbarrow yet, because I tried picking up the lightweight men's at nationals when we were like packing everything up, but I couldn't pick it up. But then again, I was cold.
Well, and it's on a dirt floor too, so make sure you don't get stuck in a rut or anything like that and pull it off course at all.
And my original plan was to buy baseball spikes for that event just to have more traction. Now I'm thinking like, is it really going to make that big of a difference? And do I really need to buy shoes just for one event? Because usually all the events are on a smooth ceramic floor.
Maybe you can borrow somebody's. Do you know anyone that wears the same shoe size as you?
I don't really associate with baseball players.
That's the first time we've heard that on this show. That's a cool quote.
Yeah, is there a story behind that, or is that just?
That's more like they just fool around. They don't really care about being athletic, at least in my experience. That's probably more like the high school mindset. But as someone in college, I really just like keep to myself or keep to my friends.
I was looking at the event. Your wheelbarrow is 550, isn't it? It's no joke.
Now that's basically the same as the farmers, except you're kind of like pushing into it. So I feel like that would be harder than the farmers. And I'm not sure what the pick height is. I think it's either 10 to 12. Not sure.
Yeah, because even the super heavies it's 650. It's only 100 pounds more, and they're giant guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the medium weights have 600.
Yeah, they do. I'm looking at it now.
So then that means the heavies and supers both have 650.
Yeah, let's see if I can share it.
See, another thing about this show is that he didn't post the rules, so going into it, you kind of do need to know what this show is. Because although Matt was helping me with the show, I still like looked up all the streams and looked at other people's videos, and so I could see what was exactly happening.
Yeah, I mean, the answer to that is last year quite a lot was happening. They had Masters, Nationals, Highland Games there at the same time. So I think David was trying to split it up more this year.
It was kind of hard to tell what was happening from the stream. So I'm like, are they warming up or are they going? It's like, are multiple groups going at the same time? I'm not sure.
Well, let's go ahead and throw a reminder in here. So if anybody is still watching this stream right now, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and then head over to John's at My Block Strongest Man. Make sure that you subscribe to his channel as well. And then click on the link for the Discord down below and join our little forum that we're establishing down there and join the community. So start putting your comments in there.
The other thing we never say is follow us on Instagram too.
Yeah, sure. That's a good point.
Yeah, Isaac's Hunger Smash Fitness. I am at My Block Strongest. They wouldn't give me the last 3 characters on Instagram, so there you go. But yeah, follow us there too.
Where was the Discord link again?
It's in the description for the video down below. And we just published it today, so I think there's 2 people in it, and it's John and I. But hopefully we can get like a couple hundred, get some good conversation going.
Yeah, give people a place to to hate on me where they can get a gang against me instead of just single people picking on me. I usually get that kind of stuff when I do predictions, so I started doing fewer predictions.
I was gonna say we could start our own separate thread where it's just like why John sucks or something like that.
Yeah, honestly, it's not that. It's just it's so much work to do result shows that I don't have a lot of time left to do predictions. But yeah, there's I always try to make it right. Certain very high profile athletes have called me out on a couple things, and I always try to make it right when they call out something that is in fact incorrectly done.
Well, no matter how you place the predictions, somebody's going to disagree. Somebody's going to be unhappy. So
True.
Yeah, it's whatever.
But another thing, Ian, you mentioned earlier on that got my attention is you said you played lacrosse earlier. I wonder if any of those skills transition over to strongman, and how so?
Probably just quick feet, really. See, I feel like I've done a little jiu-jitsu over the summer and over the fall. I feel like that has helped strongman more than lacrosse, because a big thing of jiu-jitsu is drill, and drill. Do things over and over until it becomes muscle memory. That was my initial training with the carry medley. Just do it over and over so you can get like practice and muscle memory of how to pick the implements, so that it's just second nature. And another thing about jiu-jitsu is swallow your ego. So I had to reduce my press weight in order to learn how to push jerk, because all I would do is push press, and then I'm like, I don't want to push jerk. This is kind of boring. I want to press it. No. I mean, the bigger numbers come with push jerking, so you gotta be technical.
Yeah, Isaac, Gabby Willits does a push jerk, right? Because she's also doing Olympic lifting.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen, I think she does it at least once in a while. I don't know if that's how she competes or not, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so track and field, jiu-jitsu, lacrosse, you're like a really well-rounded athlete.
Everything except for the conditioning, but I'm working on that with my coach right now, Tyler Young. He's a grade A performance in Bowling Green, actually, so I won't have to drop in and say what's up. So kind of convenient that it works out. The comp I picked is also where my coach is. Like, he also coaches like the whole crew at the shop.
Is that Bowling Green, Kentucky, or? Okay.
Yep. I believe there's 3 Strongman gyms in Bowling Green, Kentucky. From what I've heard, I'm not sure where I heard that, but there's a good plethora.
And by the way, Isaac, maybe we're going to set a record for how many times I say this in one show. Tell Tyler I said, what's up? He was on our show once before.
Tyler Young?
Yes.
Awesome. Gotcha.
We're trying to get everybody that competes in strongman in any form on our show.
If I remember, Tyler actually dropped in while he was on the road, like on no notice. It was really cool of him to do that.
I forget who he dropped in with though, because wasn't it
wasn't Andrew Mock, was it?
No, I thought it was what's his name? Not Willie. A couple of the other Southern guys. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Anyways, that was a while back. Okay, we've done like 50 episodes of this now, something like that. I think we're getting up there.
Getting
now.
close to that. Yeah, getting close to that.
So what other comps do you have looking forward to this year?
So right now it's Lift Me, I'm Irish 3 because it's so well run, and James actually got the green light to host it in a city plaza in Raleigh. So it's going to be like around a bunch of shops and restaurants with a bunch of people walking by. So it's going to be like good publicity for the sport, and it's just going to be a really fun venue with a lot of fun people there. Not only is my group coming down, or a good amount of them they're competing there, I know everyone in the lightweight class, so it's going to be real fun to throw down with 5 other guys I know, and pretty sure I know at least 2 other lightweights that are considering signing up for it. So it's just going to be a real fun weekend.
Yeah, that should be really fun. What all events do they have going on?
So it has a Viking press for reps with jerks allowed, which I'm seeing that. I guess they're starting to allow jerks to the Viking press because they know the low guys can't really do it. And there's a sandbag battle, which is a loading event, but you load the sandbag over the yoke, and the next guy in the weight class comes up and loads it over, and you're going to run through until you increase the weight. And then there's a 13-inch deadlift medley or ladder. So you do the first axle, second axle, and then you do the third axle for reps. And then there's a farmer's medley. So you take one farmer's down, you take another one back, and then you take a third one back again. And then there's a sandbag race where I believe you take a sandbag 40 feet down, 40 feet back, and then another sandbag that's heavier, 40 feet down, 40 feet back. So it ends up being like 160 feet. So it's really a conditioning competition.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot of like moving events, not a lot of static strength.
Yeah, last year it was a little bit more static with the lever deadlift and the what else they have, and the load. But I guess you're just changing it up this year.
Nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly okay.
As for the next event, Jacob Fisher from Brute Strength Gym, he was telling me about a competition he was planning on hosting on the boardwalk with USS. He wants it to be shark themed, and I told the buddies from the shop about it. They seemed like that's fun, so he said like midsummer or something like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that one as a fun little competition.
That sounds fun.
Like a shark deadlift and stuff like that.
And he's planning on naming it Blood in the Water.
Nice.
You told me about that at Star City 6.
That sounds fun. Definitely. Did you want me to share this, John?
Yeah, why not? I should have stayed with my. Oh, it's not playing, huh?
Nope.
Interesting. All right, you can stop sharing it. But I should have stayed with my original intuition. Tyler was on with Andrew Mock.
Oh.
Speaking of Clash, I am planning on attempting the Clash of the 80s qualifier. But see, that's gonna start this Thursday and end on Sunday, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work after Mammoth. I'm probably gonna be pretty sore, but I'll attempt it and see what I can do, because I remember Cody and Hannes and Josh saying that it's just gonna look better if a lot of people attempt it.
So
I'm
it's an
like,
online qualifier?
Not sure what it's going to be yet, because Anthony Furman's keeping that top secret.
He likes to do that, I've noticed.
Yeah, I think that's better that way, instead of like him telling one of his buddies, and then a certain athlete or a certain coach can tell their athletes, and then they're all going to be more prepared. But it's definitely better this way, that we're all like getting antsy, waiting for the events to drop. And it's also over 3 weeks, so that's going to add even more anxiety.
All right. Well, we're approaching the 1 hour mark. Do you have any other pertinent questions or comments you wanted to ask, John?
No, I'm all set. As always, Ian, we want to give you an opportunity to talk about anything exciting you have coming up, how people can reach out to you. I don't know if you have any sponsorships at this point, or partnerships of any kind you want to shout out, trainers, anything you'd like to promote. This is your time.
Definitely shout out to Coach Tyler Young, great coach. He has really good programming. I've already kind of noticed a difference in improvements, but all the guys at the shop, they say that it's helped a lot. Shout out to Matt Mcdougall for helping the training. And I guess you can follow me on Instagram. It's Ian_DR460N. Other than that, thank you so much for having me on. I did not expect to be on a podcast at all.
Yeah, man, we enjoyed it a lot. And, Isaac's hosting, but I'll speak for him. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
I was going to try and pull up your Instagram real quick and just show people, just so they can see it. Here it is.
Yeah, I don't add to it that often. It's just kind of competition, right. And then every now and then I'll have like some training videos. And then previously it's been just random pictures from when I was in high school. I'm just like, I don't feel like deleting those.
So were you actually doing E-stim, or were you on a EKG or something, or what was up with that?
Funny thing, I was in the hospital a week before Lift Me I'm Irish 2. And I was able to hit most of the weights. I only failed the third axle. I believe I made it more than halfway through the lever deadlift, and then the loading event. I only got the first stone, but that was a huge PR for me. So I was pretty happy with that. Other than that, it was a real fun show.
Nice. All righty. Well, yeah. So I guess this is the end for tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us. And like I said, once again, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and then head over to John's and like and subscribe to his, and then head over to Ian and follow him on Instagram, and then click the Discord link down below and join the Discord and do all that. What was that, John? Click the mouse.
That's how you click to like everything and all the stuff.
Gotcha. we have our geriatric co-host being snarky, but Anyways, that is all for tonight. And just remember to always improve that 1%.
All right. Thank you. Good night, y'all.